So, we're 4 days out from the JAHealing Gardening and Self-Sufficiency Workshop, the third one out of 5. You can still pre-register. Make sure you get to JAHealing.com or one of the social media pages, Facebook or Instagram, to pre-register for this weekend, August 7th on Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time where I am. You can sign up for this one or the next 3 you can choose which one you want, or you can go all 3. And if you do all 3, I know they're going to give you a discount as well. So let's get that out of the way. First of all, it'll be a workshop talking about permaculture, food forests, gardening, self-sufficiency, growing your own food, talking about greenhouse, talking about chicken coop, talking about a whole bunch of stuff, right? Suburban homesteading. What did I do today? Today was a pretty nice day. We had no rain, finally. It was supposed to rain tomorrow, but I see the forecast has changed. We may not have rain for this whole rest of this week, which is odd because we've been getting so much rain lately. So today, since everything was nice and dry and it was nice and hot, I started clearing my area for my fall garden. I have let a lot of things go to seed because I collect the seeds. I also sell seeds. So I collected my seeds and I chopped everything down, and I'm just gonna let the chickens eat the rest of what is here, which is awesome. I can just pull it up and throw it in there, and they'll make quick work of that. That's one great thing about chickens, is they will eat all of your junk. Hi, thank you for joining us from England. Wow, I'm flattered. Thank you. We're here in Canada. So what's your hardiness zone? Do you know? We're a hardiness zone 6 here. We've been bumped up from a 5B. I don't know where you're at, where you're located. So yes, I collected giant red mustard seeds. I collected my garlic mustard seeds. I collected my lady's thumb today. I collected my daisy fleabane. I collected my bulb garlic seeds. What else did I do today? Did a lot of cleanup, moved things around. They're coming to finish up some things on the coop tomorrow, adding some perches and things like that. So I had to get that stuff organized and move things around. And of course, taking care of my child running around here. It's really fun to see her interacting in the garden, to see butterflies and bees and bugs and wormies and things like that, birds. She's very enamored with the birds. She can identify a lot of them by their way they sing and what they look like, which is amazing for a 3-year-old, I think. She knows the mourning doves, she knows the robins, she knows the cardinals, she knows the blue jays, she knows the seagulls. We have seagulls that fly over top, and then we have Canada geese flying back and forth. Sorry, we've got mosquitoes coming out. She knows the Canadian geese because they honk. The crows, she knows the crows as well, so that's kind of cool. Yep, I'm just sitting here in my food forest. Look how tall my amaranths are getting. I'm sitting actually on the ground. So I'm pretty happy. I've done a lot of seeding. Fall winter veggies. I have a lot of greens, hardy greens. My radishes have already popped. I don't know if you can see them here. Radishes have already popped quick, like 2 days. Radishes are one of the fastest food crops. Half of my city is 9A. The other half, oh, you're so lucky. You're in a nice warm zone. Beautiful. You can do a lot of things with permaculture there. A lot of food forest fun. Wow, that's fun. I wish I was closer to a 9A. You must have a lot of beautiful exotic things there that I would love to grow. I do grow a lot of that stuff, but I have to bring it in the greenhouse. And I'm not sure if I'll ever get fruit from a lot of them because they just don't get the heat and the light requirements that they need. Even though I give them the artificial, it's just not the same. I know England is so famous for its gardens, but beautiful gardens. Man, I'm telling you. And I love watching the gardening shows with the British hosts. That's so fun too. I kind of have a cottage style garden, I guess you could say. I have a lot of things. Niagara Burnins woman. Hi. What was I saying? Oh, I've got echinacea. I've got like a flowing kind of cottagey garden. It's fun. It's whimsical. It's a beautiful thing. I love, I've been adding a lot more perennial flowers. And they're such a joy. Before I was mostly just focused on food, but I have to get the pollinators here. So the more flowers I have, the happier I am. Beautiful greenhouse. Thank you very much. I should let you in. Oh, that's what I did today too. I cut a lot of my herbs. I've been drying them, right? I have so much to do before fall hits, and I hate doing it all at one time. So I'm trying to be ahead of the game. And I figured that if I cut a lot of my herbs now, I have another chance for a whole nother harvest. So here's my greenhouse. Hello, greenhouse. I think plants are happier with different species of neighbors. Yes, absolutely. Not only that, it keeps the pests away. So if you have a whole bunch of one crop, that's what I keep telling people. If you're growing food crops, like a traditional food crop, rows and rows of gardens, the same thing, you run the risk of a pest coming in that particularly likes whatever you're growing, your cabbage, and wiping you out. If you're planting in kind of a food forest sort of permaculture way, your plants are all mishmashed in a way. And it's harder for the pests to wipe something out. And also a lot of that just keeps the plants healthier. So plants send off signals, right, when they're not healthy. And that will attract those pests, and that's terrible. So to keep everybody happy, you've got to mix them up. You've got to let them mingle. So here's the greenhouse in full effect. It's kind of empty right now because everything is outside. See my empty shelves? I have to clean up. But I've been hanging my herbs. It's a perfect place to hang my herbs because I have a screen door. There's great ventilation. It's not wet in here right now because I don't have a bunch of plants that I'm watering. So I've got a lot of them hung. They were washed, hung, they're being dried, and they're all labeled. Don't forget to label them, because even if you think you're going to remember what that is, when spices dry, they all kind of look the same. They tend to all look the same. And then you're like, oh, I'm not sure exactly what that was. Dadgummit. So just do yourself a favor and label them, because you'll thank me later. All right. So I have a lot of fall cleanup to do. I've got piles of branches I need to move from trimming things down. I've got still a lot of things to trim. I still have some perennial trees to put in, bushes and perennial plants that I've been holding on to. I want to have established before winter, so they have a nice root system, and we can enjoy them in the spring. So I've been trying to make my life a lot easier with perennial planting and biennial, things that will reseed themselves, not just flowers, and but also vegetables and fruits, things like that. It's important, give yourself a break. If I can find something that's going to reseed itself, yay me! Like these guys, I didn't have to plant any of this food. Any of it. It seeded itself. The only thing I planted were the little annuals that are hidden in amongst here. In fact, I have tomatoes growing that I didn't even seed. Somehow they seeded themselves over winter, and they survived here in Canada over the winter. See, our climate is changing in a real way, because that would never happen before. I've even had, I throw compost into my other vegetable garden, one of my vegetable gardens, I should say. And I've actually had citrus plants growing out of the soil. Crazy that it's lived under the snow and is coming back. So, wow, to me. I'm not exactly sure what citrus it is. It's likely a lemon. It's hard to find seeds or anything else here anymore. Yeah. And then I've got the chicks. My girls are happy. It's been a nice day. They don't like that sun so much, so I've been putting an umbrella up for them to keep them shaded. They get real active right now, right just before twilight. They get all antsy at me. They want me to bring them some extra food, and they don't like, what I didn't know is chickens can't not see in low light. They don't do really well with being able to see. So that's why they all head to the coop when when it starts getting dark. I didn't know that. I just thought they were smart enough to go to sleep, but they can't really see. So then they go back in the coop, which is very good on their part. But yeah, they start getting antsy because they want to eat again. Every time I walk by, they're fussing at me. So I spend some time with them around twilight, around this time, hanging out. Rest of the day, they kind of rest. They're getting out of the sun, hanging out in the shade, sitting in their dust bath and whatnot. But yep, so collecting seeds, that's what I have to do. I'm starting to prepare for fall. Once fall hits, that cold weather, and I think we're going to have an early fall because we've had cool weather at night. We've had a couple days that have been in the 50s in the morning, which is crazy for July and August. So much rain, it's crazy. I've never seen so much rain here. I can't remember the last time we've had so much rain. So that being said, I think we're going to have an early fall, and I just want to be prepared. I hate doing all that last minute stuff right when it's getting cold and you're just running around like a crazy person trying to get everything in, and then it's just a mess in the greenhouse and you just piled stuff in because you're in a rush. And then I'm out here in the dark trying to do it, and that sucks. So I'm trying to be ahead of the game. I want to harvest my herbs and things. I'm transplanting my pots, making sure that everything's nice and healthy that I have to bring into the greenhouse for the winter, because it's a long winter. They have to last a long time in that cold. It's by no means warm in my greenhouse in the winter, but I do not let it freeze. I do my best to keep it around at least 5 or 10 degrees. I have my tropicals in there, so it makes me nervous all the time. I do have a backup heater on deck all the time, just to make sure I've got enough heat, because there are some nights that are very cold. I have a thermostat that tells me what the temperature is in the greenhouse. It's in my room, so all night long I'm looking to make sure, and if I see a dramatic drop, I run out there like, oh no, there's a hole, something fell, or the heater's not working. And that happened last year, so I was quick on the draw and I got that other heater out, and I saved my stuff. But if they were out there too long and things froze, I mean, I would have lost all my tropicals. So that just, whew. But see, I have too many anymore to bring in. I don't want to bring them all in anymore into the house all winter. It's a lot. So the greenhouse it is. So I'm just trying to make it work. So everything has to be healthy. I'm potting things, making sure that things are healthy, making sure they have enough soil, fertilizing them. Ooh, these mosquitoes are bad. Fertilizing them, separating them. If they need to be in a bigger pot, they get put in another pot. Again, cutting all my herbs, drying them before I have to bring anything in. Collecting my seeds, so it's not a last minute thing. As soon as I see the birds starting to eat certain plants, I know, okay, time to get those seeds in because they're ready. That's what I'm doing. I've seeded my fall stuff. I'm getting my areas ready to plant my fall crops, because I have to, I stagger my planting. That's the word, staggering my planting, so that I can have more than one crop in one area for the whole season. So I have spring planting, things that come up in the spring, then some of those die out. They don't like that hot weather. Hot weather things go in. And right now those things are starting to slow up, and I start getting them out and getting my fall stuff ready to go. I already have a lot in the ground for fall, so that's great. And just doing cleanup. The plants are thankful for all you do, even though they can't say it. I sure hope so. I think so. They're quite healthy. I talk to them. You got to talk to them. And I've got a radio in my greenhouse, so they're not alone. Shielding everything. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what was funny too? Remember the other night, Prep for It was here on here with me. We had hail coming, and I have in amongst this, I've got some beautiful eggplant. I've got some tomatoes. I've got some nice flowers and stuff. But see, these beautiful big amaranths, they're tough. And they protected my little plants from getting bombarded with the hail. I was like, yes. So that was a really great thing to happen, which I didn't plan for. So I'm not mad at all these amaranth. Not only is it a bunch of food, not only is it 2 veggies in one, it's a grain and beautiful greens. They cook up quick like spinach. They're delicious. They're prolific. They reseed themselves. They're beautiful plants. Look at this plume that's starting on that one right there. You're going to see that's going to be like 2 feet tall. It's going to be like this huge fire candle. Beautiful plume. They're lovely plants. They grow up big and strong. I don't see many pests bugging them at all. Hardly a hole in a leaf anywhere. They're very strong. They're very hardy. So Yeah, absolutely. You have these big soldiers. So planting in a permaculture way, which is what I keep pushing to everyone, growing a lot of food in a small space. But see, there's a system to it. You have a tall canopy, you have a shorter canopy, you have the smaller, you have the bushes that are kind of big, like berry bushes and things like that. And then you've got your tall annuals. You work your way down all the way to ground cover to your fungus if you want to spore mushrooms. And then you have vines that grow up whatever tall thing you have. In that way, everything is being protected. So yes, I do have these big spruces, and I've got big, here's another spruce. I've got a huge oak tree, I've got cedars, and I have them in strategic places to protect the other little things, right? Especially in winter. Um, this is a windbreak. This is my prevailing wind coming from back here. So I have a whole wall of cedars all the way down. We have a huge spruce, and I have kept this little evergreen. Look at my wild grape and my wisteria have gone bananas this year. But these actually create a little nook, and now that I have the coop here, this is kind of creating a nice little area for my date plum persimmon. So my date plum persimmon is right here, this tree, and I'm actually pushing the issue. I'm pushing yes, microclimates, exactly what I'm talking about. Every property has microclimates, right? Your region has microclimates, but on your property you have microclimates. So this little date plum persimmon is actually like a 7. I think it's a hardiness zone 7. It's 3 years old in the ground here, but it was 2 or 3 years old before I put it in the ground. I started it from seed. It's an amazing tree. It's nice and tall. It's prolific. It's healthy, but see, it's protected there. I do put plastic on it and I mulch it, but that's to make sure that it's going to live. What makes me scared every year, though, is that it dies all the way back to the ground. So it grows new branches from the ground every time. And it always makes me nervous that I killed it. Oh, God, I killed it. My musabastu, this is something I put in last year for the first time. This is a banana plant, a hardy perennial banana. And I had them in 3 different zones in my yard. They were very strong. They created little stands. I did steal some pups to take out and put in my greenhouse for winter, right before the snow flew, right? And then I mulched them and did a bunch of stuff. But these guys, only one stand came back, and I've re-established a couple stands from the little pups that I had and moving some of these. So you have microclimates. You want to make sure that you're putting anything you're pushing a zone in a nice, safe place. nice, cozy little juncture in your yard, right? I have huge pine trees in the front, but there's a fence from my neighbors as well, and that's a nice protected area. It's a part shade area, so you have to plant things that are like a woodland, kind of like a woodland edging plants, and that's doing really well. And I'm real proud of that. I worked on that really hard. I did a lot of research on that. So yes, you definitely have microclimates. You have to know where your sun is rising and setting. You have to know what trees are casting shade. You have to know where your prevailing wind is. You got to know where the most, if you have sandy soil, if you have clay soil. In the front I have clay. In the back I don't. But in the front there's clay. And I've had to really work that soil with new compost and new soil and mulch to get it where I need it to be able to plant. So there's definitely different areas of your yard. It's not going to all plant the same. You might have sandy areas. You might have places where you have water pooling. You might have muddy areas. So you have to find plants that are accustomed to that and love that. And there's so many plants to choose from. You can always find something that is perfect for that area, right? Anyway, I'm yapping. So make sure you guys you should be proud. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do work hard on my garden. I've put my time in, blood, sweat, and tears. It's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding. And you must know that too, Mr. Prep for it. Miss, I don't know if you're a boy or a girl, prep for it. But you must know what joy you get out of it and what confidence you get out of it, that you know you have food, that you know you're prepared. Every year gets better. I hone my systems every year. I experiment a little, see if I can get things to a better place. So that's all, but you get joy in it, and it brings you confidence, that's for sure. Peace of mind. and you get out here and enjoy the elements, sunshine and the water and the rain and the soil. Get your fingers dirty. All right. Anyway, I do hope to see you guys on the workshop. We're going to be talking about all this kind of stuff. I could talk about this all day, so let me cut off. But I could talk about this all day. So Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's August 7th. Thank you. I appreciate that, Heather Nicole. Thank you for the motivation. Well, you guys motivate me too, because talking to myself is no fun. I do hope that I'm able to share some of my experience and my hardship, things that I have learned. I want to save people from making terrible mistakes. You're most welcome. Save people from making mistakes. I don't want you to waste money. I don't want you to waste time. I want you to grow food and medicine and be okay. Let's beat this system. Let's change the system so we don't have to be so reliant on it. Give yourself some peace of mind. Promise it's worth it. The hard work is worth it. Okay? All right. Join us Saturday. Check out JAHealing, JAHealing.com, or get to pre-register on Facebook or Instagram and let them know you want to pre-register for the event. Hope to see you there. Okay? See you tomorrow. Bye. Thanks for tuning in. I much appreciated. Bye, England.